Good morning. Hello. Welcome to Allie in Sweatpants. My name is Allie. I'm wearing sweatpants. Today I thought that I would talk about everything that I made in 2021. 2021 was my first full year of knitting. I had dabbled in it, you know, here and there growing up, and then in middle school and then in high school and, you know, whatnot. But 2021 was my first dive in head first, actually get projects done year. So I don't know, I just thought that I would come and I would document it and that it would be fun. So I guess we can jump right into it. I have my notes. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm looking at. So I guess we just start. The first thing that I made and finished in 2021 was this. I'm gonna try not to talk if my mouth is blocked because I saw in Legacy Knits podcast, Chelsea talked about, I love them by the way, but Chelsea talked about people who need to read lips can't see your lips if you're talking with something in front of it. So if I cover my face, I'm gonna try not to talk. But it was this sweater for my boyfriend. It's called the Chavo Pullover by Barocco. I knit it in Karen Simply Soft tweeds in probably like, I don't know, the heather gray option. I'm pretty sure it's a free pattern too. I that's probably the mentality I went in with, like, oh, I don't know how this is gonna go, I don't know how long this is gonna go, so I'm just gonna find a free pattern. It was knit in pieces, so I did have to sew the sleeves and then the sides of the body, which was a mission. This is the project where I learned that I twist my knit stitches. Here, let me see if I can do a little bit of like a, can you see the fabric now? It's really cool. It has, you know, it's really cool, you know, it has a lot of cool elements and different stitches. So I'm still really proud of it. And this is also the project where I learned that picking up stitches doesn't mean taking your straight knitting needle and just shoving it through as many loops as you can possibly get a hold of. Because that's what I did for both these shoulders, and boy oh boy was it a pain. But it fits in really well. It's a little bit long. I think because Karen Simply Soft is 100% acrylic, it grew. I mean, I've heard that that's kind of what happens with acrylic, but he still wears it, he still loves it. I think the only thing that I modified was for the neckband and the cuffs. I did 1x1 rib, and I'm pretty sure it called for 2x2. Yeah, because that's what the hem is. The hem is 2x2. But I just thought Chris is my boyfriend. I just thought Chris would prefer a 1x1. So that was the first project. The second project I don't have with me because it got gifted away, but it was the Novice Sweater Kids by Petite Knit. Again, in Karen Simply Soft. A lot of my earlier projects were in Karen Simply Soft because I had bought a bunch. It was super cheap, it was super soft, and so I was kind of trying to like get through it before I treated myself to nicer yarn. But yeah, so again, it was in Karen Simply Soft in the, sorry, I'm just looking at my notes, in the color Soft dusty rose. It was a like beautiful, yeah, beautiful dusty pink color. I did the size 1 to 2 year because it was for my really dear friend's little baby. They moved to Vermont, which is much colder than here. Here is California. I'm in California. So I made her baby like a little tiny sweater. And I sent it off for like the winter. But it was my first time knitting in the round. So I knit it in the round and it worked up in probably, I want to say 3 or 4 days. It was so speedy. But so yes, it was my first time knitting in the round, and I sent a picture to my friend who also knits, and I was like, do these stitches look twisted? Because I just could not figure out what twisted stitches meant, how to fix it, how you even twist them. And she was like, nope, they don't look twisted. So then I thought, gosh, I guess that means I'm twisting my pearls, which was a rude awakening because the correct way of purling was a little bit more finicky than what I was doing, but what I was doing was twisting them. So yes, that was the second project. And then the third project was the same, but my size. It was the Novice, just Novice sweater. Here it is. And I made it in the Knit Picks Cot Lin yarn in the color Harbor, which I still think is a beautiful color. It's showing up pretty accurate. I would say it's a little bit deeper and a little bit more teal, maybe like greener a little bit. Again, it knit up so fast. I think I got it done in like a week, which for me was so fast. It still is really fast. Yeah, a week was really fast. It's really soft. I can't say that I've worn it very much just because it's a little small. It's a little smaller than I would like. The neck is a little bit tighter around my neck than I would like. It just doesn't quite have the positive ease that I was hoping it would have. That being said, I still think I will wear it eventually. I just kind of have to get over that. The only thing that I really don't like is the yarn. I looked online, it said it was machine wash and dryer safe. I always wash on low temp, I always dry on low temp, and I don't know if pilling is the right word because, no, I guess it is. It almost looks like felted or something. I don't know. Let me try to get, God, I'm gonna dip it in my tea. So yeah, that happened. And when I took it out of the washing machine, everything had little fluffs of this color stuck to them. And I went, oh, well, hopefully they come out in the dryer. Put it through the dryer. Most of it did come off everything else, but this was just covered in little balls of fluff, which I can only assume is pilling or linting, or I don't know. But then I pulled out the lint trap on the dryer, and it was like ½ an inch thick of just this blue lint. And I've washed it probably 4 or 5 more times, and still, when I take it off, I'm covered in these lint balls. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, look. Oh, you probably can't see that. But there was a lint ball. I don't know. And I was bummed because I wanted to try this yarn again because they have it in so many beautiful colors. But then I remembered I didn't really like working with it either. It had long fibers in the actual yarn thread that I can only assume was the linen content, because it's, I don't know the percentages, I should have looked it up. But it's, you know, part cotton, part linen. And so I can only assume that those fibers were linen fibers, but they were stiff and they were pokey and they almost felt like little plastic threads. So I remember when I was knitting with it, I was like pulling them out of the yarn, and I just had this pile of them. And I remember it making my finger feel sore because I knit continental, so the yarn drags over my left finger, and I remember making my finger feel sore. Ooh, excuse me. I remember it making my finger feel sore, and so yeah, I might not. I don't know. Maybe I should give it another try. Maybe it was the batch or the color, or maybe I'll just buy a small, I don't know. Okay. The next sweater was again for my boyfriend. He's very lucky. I was gonna say I don't believe in the sweater curse, but that feels like I'm cursing myself, so I guess I just ignored the quote-unquote sweater curse. But it was this one. Dun, dun, dun. It was called the Country Sweater. It was a vintage PDF pattern that I found on Etsy. Again, it was like $2 or $3 because I didn't know about Knitting Instagram. I didn't know about Ravelry. I was just like Googling patterns, and then when I couldn't find free Googled patterns, I was like, oh, let me check Etsy, see if people have like cool vintage ones. I don't know. So that's what I did. I knit this in, oh man, I was gonna look up how to say these and I forgot. Okay, I knit these in the company Vegan Yarns worsted base called Alni Lamb? A-L-N-I-L-A-M. I'm pretty sure it has something to do with outer space, and I'm pretty sure I'm not pronouncing it right, but it was in the color Fern. This was my first dive into indie dyed yarn. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. In this package that I got this yarn in, I can't even talk about it. It was so much yarn, and I have not stopped ordering from Vegan Yarn since. I am truly, truly obsessed. So I knit this in a medium. It was for Chris, my boyfriend, but sadly, it shrank in the wash. So on me, it's perfect, and he's not that much taller than me, but on him, it's just about a crop top. So it's mine now, and I love it. And I'm gonna try to bring it closer for you to see the different stitches because I still think it's so cool. So yeah. So it started in like moss stitch, and then, I don't know, and then garter, and then, I don't know. But it was knit flat again, so my stitches are twisted again. But because of the texture of the sweater, I kind of like it, actually. I don't mind it at all. Oh, but the ribbing is not twisted. You know what I was doing? I couldn't figure out how to fix my purling. So I started knitting through the back loop and twisting my purl stitches, which on the inside, I don't know if you can see that. On the inside, it gives you twisted rib, and then on the outside, it gives you normal rib. So that's kind of what I was doing for a little while. I was kind of hacking the system because I was trying to look it up, and I tried to Google it, and for some reason I just couldn't find anything about it. And then, spoiler, one day, figured it out. Oh no, I lost my page. Okay, so the next sweater, I don't even know if you would call it a self-draft because I followed like the stitch count and the construction and everything from the country sweater that I made. But I had it in my head that I wanted to make a sweater and I wanted to sell it on Etsy, and I wanted to, my thing was I wanted to make something that somebody would love and that somebody would cherish, that it was handmade, and I didn't put it on Etsy. I gave it to my boyfriend because I'm a sucker. So it's this. It actually, it looks so cool. It looks like a waffle print, but it's just, I think it's 2 or 3 rounds of knit purl and then 1 round of knit. Again, I'll hold it. Gosh, I have to move my tea. I'm so scared of dipping everything in my tea. Okay. So here you go. Excuse the hole in the collar. So I knit this, just, it was one of the stitches in the green country sweater. So that's where I found the stitch and I was like, oh, it looks really cool. It looks like waffle weave, which has always been one of my favorites. All my blankies as a kid and stuff were waffle blankies. So I knit what I hoped and assumed would be a medium. Again, I followed the medium size recommendation for the green sweater, and I just copied it for this sweater. I did a rolled collar because I was and still am obsessed with the look of that. I knit it in Lion Brand Re-Up yarn, which is, I think, like a completely recycled yarn material, because this was around the time I was sort of battling with knitting and sustainability, not only in the sense of, yes, it's more sustainable to make my clothes, but the fiber, I also wanted to be sustainable. I do agree with a lot of people that acrylic totally has its time and its place, but I kind of decided that I just didn't want everything to be made of acrylic because from my research, it's essentially plastic. So I was pretty excited. The yarn is, I don't think you would feel it and go, oh, it's so soft. It kind of feels like the cotton that like you crochet dishcloths out of. So maybe leaning a little bit more towards like the craft yarn feel. I'm not sure. I still love it. I don't mind like a rougher cotton feel for some reason. Like it doesn't bother me at all. And it fits me and my boyfriend really well. That's kind of the perk of like being almost the same height. We can kind of share everything. And yeah, I don't know. I really like it. I'm really proud of it. I think it looks really nice. I kind of bought a sweater. I'm pretty sure the sweater I bought was in fisherman's rib or half fisherman's rib, but I had a sweater from American Apparel. Yeah, American Apparel that resembled this. So I was pretty proud that like I could donate that one, send it off to its new home. I've had it for like 8 or 9 years, so it was fine to donate it and send it off to its new home, but that I could make a replacement that I love even more because I made it and now it's sentimental. Okay. So the next thing I made was the Aosta Cardigan by the Knit Purl Girl. Again, I made it in the Lion Brand Re-Up yarn in the colorway Ash. And I held it together with 1 strand of Silk City Fibers Bamboo 7 in the color Walnut, which was just kind of like a creamy beige, I would say, because I didn't think that the Re-Up yarn on its own was thick enough to meet gauge. Not that I take gauge, as Sue says, gauge schmage. But yeah, here, I will hold it up. I will show it. These really beautiful wooden buttons from Etsy that I love. And I think it totally makes the cardigan even more special. So this was the first cardigan that I ever made, which was exciting. I made it in the size medium. It was also the first raglan that I'd ever done, and I did not do it quite correctly because somehow I made it a double raglan when, yeah, the pattern is a single raglan because I've, spoiler again, made it a couple more times, but I don't mind. I still think it looks really nice. I haven't worn it a ton just because with the colorway, I kind of find it hard to style something under it. I kind of think, yeah, because like I've tried white under it, and I think because there's so much white-ish in it, it kind of like blows it out, and I don't have much dark gray and black, which is what I think really looks the best under it. So I don't know. I also have kind of been battling with how I feel about how the color of the sleeves worked up. I think that they look cool, but they definitely don't match how the color of the body worked up, and that's just because the sleeves I knit in the round and the body I did not. And I'm assuming that that is what, well, and the circumference of the sleeves is much smaller than the body anyway, but I'm assuming that's the contributing factor. But I still love it. I mean, yeah, I don't know what to say. I still love it. First cardigan, first raglan. Again, it worked up really fast, I think. I swear it was like a week and a half, 2 weeks. I was a woman on a mission. Love it. Okay, next. Oh yes, okay, so next I made the Everyday Socks by Petite Knit. My first dip into socks, and it was a learning curve. It was a learning curve, but as soon as I got it, I loved it. The first pair I don't have because I gave to my mom. I made my first ever pair of socks for my mom because she deserves them. And I remember I was so bound and determined to make them fit that I put tally marks on my sheet of paper for every round that I completed on the socks, so that I could do the same thing for the second sock and they would be exactly the same. And I did that for a surprising amount of socks. I probably did that for like 7 pairs of socks before I was like, they don't have to be that exactly the same. Oh no, okay. Another word I meant to look up how to say. It's in the Vegan Yarn, the company Vegan Yarn's sock base Pleiades? P-L-E-I-A-D-E-S. Again, I think it has to do with outer space. The color that I made for my mom was called Satsuki, and it was beautiful. It was like a white base with light blue speckles, and I'm pretty sure like random mustard speckles. It was so pretty. I wish I had gotten myself a skein, but I do have a little scrap of it that I'm gonna use for scrappy socks, which is exciting. But I also made a pair for my boyfriend this was like a, not discount yarn, because I'm pretty sure it wasn't on what am I doing? I'm pretty sure it wasn't on a discount, but it was like a test colorway. But I'm pretty sure it was, oh no, oh gosh, I'm a mess. Oh, okay, sorry. I'm pretty sure it was called yeah, lighter royal, because at the time they did have like a blue similar to this, and it's almost like self striping, which I thought was so cool. And also, this is gonna be weird, I also made myself a pair in, again, the vegan yarn sock base in the color Arietti. It's a beautiful, my mom and I call them my raspberry socks because it's like a beautiful raspberry red. So again, first socks I ever made them for my mom. They, for anyone who doesn't know, but I'm pretty sure everyone does know, it's a German short row heel. So it was my first time doing German short rows, which I don't think I had to tear the heel out on any of them. I think I just got really lucky and read the instructions and I was like, hope this is right. I knit all my socks on 2.5 millimeter needles, the 9-inch one, so it's just in the round the whole time, and I love it. I love it. I can't imagine double pointed needles, and I'm not the biggest fan of magic loop, to be perfectly frank. Okay, yes, the next thing I also don't have, because again it was a gift, but it was the Novice cardigan by Petite Knit. I knit it for my grandma because she turned 95 over the summer, and I thought that that warranted a very special cardigan. So I knit it in my Caron Simply Soft acrylic leftovers, and I knit the body and the sleeves in like a cream color, and then I knit the button band, bottom ribbing, and cuffs in the Dusty Rose colorway. So it was like a cream and pink cardigan, which is so my grandma. I knit it in the size medium. She's really tiny, but she likes room. So I knit a size medium, and I added a little pocket on it because she always has to have tissues on her, always. I mean, it's like, it's a thing. When she doesn't wear tops with pockets, she'll like put tissues in the cuffs of her pants. So I knew there had to be a pocket. And I did it, I think I did it again out of cream, and then I did the top in the Dusty Rose, and I embroidered little flowers on it because she's so cute. She loves flowers. So yes, that was that. The next thing I knit was the Grow shawl for my mom. Oh my gosh, I know exactly. Fiber Tales. I'll put it somewhere. I know exactly. I love her podcast. I'm just totally blanking. But I did the Grow shawl in the Knit Picks Shine worsted yarn in the color, go away, in the color Current. So it was like a burgundy, yeah, it was like a burgundy. And it was the first shawl that I ever made. It was for my mom for Christmas again. And I didn't realize until I had finished the shawl that I had done, it has these columns of like beautiful braids. And I just didn't, I was like read enough of the instructions and I was like, yeah, I got it. You must do them at the end. You don't. My mom loves it anyways. It's super soft yarn. She said when she washed it and dried it, it also like linted on things. But I've since then made my boyfriend another sweater in the yarn in a different colorway, and we didn't have that issue, so I don't know. So the next thing I made was, I can't believe I didn't write down the designers' names. I will put everything so that everybody gets credit. But the next thing I made was the Julie jacket? I'm not sure, but it was this. Oh my god, I love it so much. I made it in Wool and the Gang. Didn't write down the yarn base, but it was, I don't think they have the yarn anymore. It was like their recycled water bottle yarn. And I actually got it in a kit to make a different sweater. I had 2 colors to make the same sweater. And I made the sweater in the other colorway that I had, and it did not turn out. So I had both of them sitting around. It seemed like it would meet gauge. I love the color, but I didn't have enough. So I had to order 2 more balls. And because they weren't making it anymore, I had to go to Etsy, and the 2 balls cost me $90. So I was like, Allie, you gotta make something with it because it cost you way more than a pretty penny. So I did, but boy oh boy, can you tell where that other skein came in? I still don't care. I still love it. I twisted a couple of the cables the wrong way. Still don't care. Buttons aren't evenly spread. Don't care. Love it. I'm also pretty sure, I think the sleeves called for half fisherman's rib, and I did full fisherman's rib because I was still pretty new and I didn't understand. And holy moly, I had never done cables before. It has cables. I'd never done baubles before. It's got baubles. I'd never done like a fisherman's rib of any kind. It's got that. I'm gonna hold it closer so you can see the beautiful. Oh, I just love it. And I think what I'm gonna do, because I can't believe this is the 3rd time I'm bringing up their podcast. It's just because I love you guys. But in one of the first episodes of the Legacy Knits podcast, Chelsea was wearing this beautiful cardigan that her mom had made her, and it had cables and it had baubles and it had like a collar, you know, like the pointy folded collar thing. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this pattern again, but instead of doing ribbing on the sleeves, I think I'm gonna try to figure out how to continue the baubles onto the sleeves, and then I think I'm gonna figure out how to add a collar because it just looks so cute and cozy, and that's my plan. Okay, after that, okay, so like half the stuff I don't have to show, but I'll insert pictures. The next thing I had made was a birthday sweater for my cousin because she turned 30, and just like my grandma, I thought that that deserved celebration. So I used the Bellish app, which sadly they had to shut down. But the app, I'm sure everybody knows, but the app was, you could plug in what you wanted to make, like cardigan or sweater or beanie or socks, and then you could customize it. You could do the length of something or the stitch pattern of something, or short sleeve, long sleeve, you know, it was really cool. And then it generated a pattern for you. You would pick the yarn weight, you would pick the size, and then it would generate a free pattern for you. So that's what I used, and I called it the Wild Oats sweater because the stitch that I used, I'm pretty sure, was called the Wild Oats stitch. It was really cool. I used Stylecraft Naturals Bamboo and Cotton in the color Natural, which was like a linen-y beige, very neutral color. It was very pretty. I made the size large in 4mm needles. So it was a little bit of a labor of love, but I did love it because it was stunning. The bottom of the body was knit in the round, and then when you split for the sleeves, you knit the front and the back back and forth, which is the part that was a labor of love. And then you picked up the stitches for the sleeves and you just knit normal. And I made it like a high, I don't know if it's technically a turtleneck, but it goes up to her chin. And then I gave her the option, you can fold it down, you can have it up, because she likes to tuck into her sweaters. And it fit her so well. She came over for her birthday and she tried it on, and I was so nervous. I literally had everyone in the house. I had my boyfriend try it on, my dad, my mom, who all have like crazy different body types. But I was like, if it can fit you, it can fit her. If it looks too big on you, like, I don't know, maybe it'll be too big on her. If it looks small on you, maybe it'll be, like, I was, you know, that whole thing of like gift knitting. But it fit her perfectly. She looked so good in it. The color suited her so well. And the only thing that I think I modified from the generated pattern was it had you go halfway with the stitch and then stockinette for the other half. And I'm pretty sure I went a little over half with the stitch, the wild oat stitch, because instead of having like a hard line where it stopped, I kind of faded it out for a few rounds. So instead, I can't remember if it was every other, but say instead of every other, I did every 2 and then every 4 and then every 6, and then I stopped it because I thought that would be kind of just a nicer look. Yes. Okay. The next thing I made was, again, for the same sweet little baby that I made the Novice sweater for. That's what it's called, right? Yeah, Novice sweater for. I made the Frida baby cardigan in the leftover Knit Picks shine worsted in the colorway Current that I used for my mom's shawl. And I made the size 12 to 24 months because I think when I gifted it, I gave it to her for Christmas. She was just turning 1. So I figured if it fit her at all, it would fit. I never know. I made size 12 to 24 month. It was a Christmas present. Oh my God, I'm mentioning them again. I must be the biggest fangirl. I don't know. I found the pattern through Sue on the Legacy Knits podcast. She showed it a couple times, and it has these cute little like squiggly cables down the front, and then the rest of it is just stockinette with really pretty raglan increases. And I saw her make it the first time and I was like, oh, that's cute. And then I watched another episode where she made it again, and I was like, oh, I've got to make that for my friend's baby. So I did, and I put little wooden flower shaped buttons on it. And I don't know if she ever wore it. I think her mom had trouble even getting her to try it on for a picture, but it was more selfish because I just wanted to make cute little baby things. So the next thing I made was for the mom, my friend who has the baby. I also made her a Christmas gift, a Christmas cardigan. I made, again, the Aosta Cardigan by the Knit Pearl Girl I had 2 leftovers. I had Premier yarn Bamboo Fair in the color Linen, and I had Stylecraft Naturals Bamboo and Cotton in the color Natural, and they were almost identical in color. So I said, well, since I have them both, and the Aosta Cardigan takes a heavier weight of yarn, those are both DK, I was like, I'll just hold them double, it'll stash bust, and I'll create this beautiful thing for my friend. And I knew that the color would suit her. So that's what I did. I made her size small because she's a very petite lady, and I love her to death. I love her so much. I miss her. Again, it was for Christmas. And yeah, like I said, it was leftover from my cousin's Wild Oats sweater. And then I think I had the linen colorway, the Bamboo Fair yarn for a shawl I was gonna make myself. And then I just decided no, I want to make my friend a cardigan instead. So that's what I did. She sent me pictures wearing it, and she says that she loves it and it fit her so nicely in the pictures. And then just yesterday, she sent me a picture of her baby wearing it, and it's, you know, it's, the sleeves are rolled up a million times and it's dragging on the ground, and she was like, she wanted to try on Mama's cardigan, and oh my gosh, that's why I gift knit. Ooh. So the next thing I made was the Aosta sweater by the Knit Pearl Girl, and I did it in the Lion Brand Kobu yarn, which is cotton and bamboo. Sorry, I haven't been saying that. Most of the yarn I use is probably like 50% cotton, 50% bamboo. I just really like it. So it was in the colorway silver. I knit the size large because it was gonna be a Christmas / birthday present for my friend Joey, who is like 6'4". He's huge. I had never knit for someone that tall before. So it, but actually, you know, it didn't even take as long as I thought that it would, because the sweater, like the stitch repeat is so addicting, and I just love like raglan. I almost can't put raglan stuff down until that part of it's done, because I just want to get to the next one and the next one, and I love watching it work up. So it really didn't take that long. Like I said, I held the yarn, I held the yarn double, the Kobu yarn, I held it double. And the only modification that I think I made was I did the tubular bind off for the cuffs and the bottom, because I just really like that look. And it fit him so well too, and it was so like squishy and, ooh, sorry. It was so squishy and soft, and I think it was warm because the you know, the gauge was tight. So, and he's going to school in Berkeley, California right now, where again, it's much colder than here in Southern California. So yeah, that was really nice. And then in the midst of all the Christmas knitting, I wanted to try the Morse, I wish I could say it with the proper accent, but the Morse pattern by Knitting Traditions. It's the sock that she made, the sock pattern that she made with her grandmother's like traditional Norwegian heel construction. And she was one of the first podcasters that I started listening, and she's still the podcaster where the second she uploads a video, I'm like, I am right there. I gotta watch it immediately. So I knit for my boyfriend Christmas socks. I love them. I love them. He loves them. He's still wearing them even though Christmas is long gone. And the heel construction was, I'm so sorry about my nose. Something is getting me, and I think it might be fiber. The heel construction was really cool. It was not hard. It was the first heel that I had done that wasn't the short row heel. Yeah, it's awesome. My boyfriend actually prefers how this heel fits him. So now all the socks that I make him, I use this pattern, and I love it and he loves it. And I'm just waiting for the day, because he wears them to work. He always wears boots and long pants though, so I don't know if this day will ever come, but I'm just waiting for the day where one of his coworkers stops him and is like, oh, you have the coolest socks. Where do you get them? And he goes, my girlfriend makes them for me. 'Tis a dream. The next, I don't have any of them, and I don't think I took any pictures of them, but for Christmas gifts, I knit socks with Universal Yarns Bamboo Pop colorways. Most of the colorways, they're like self-striping and they're really beautiful. I knit probably like 5 pairs of those and I gifted them. And then I knit with, again, the leftover Karen Simply Soft yarn. I knit basically vanilla beanies. I probably knit four beanies for Christmas gifts, and they weren't all vanilla. Like some of them I did 2x2 rib, one of them I did, you know, like maybe an inch of moss stitch, and so I tried to make them all individual and unique to the person I was giving them to, but they were more or less vanilla beanies, and they were a hit. I gave it to my boyfriend's dad and my boyfriend's brother for Christmas, and they didn't take them off the entire night. It was like the sweetest, cutest thing. It was so nice. Let's see here. Oh yes, I also made my dad a vanilla beanie for Christmas, but I used the Bellish app again, and it was a DK weight beanie in Universal Yarn Bamboo Pop, not the sock base, the like DK base, which is again like, I don't remember it's basically like 50% cotton, 50% bamboo, I think. Just in the color black, because my dad likes black beanies, and it fits him really well. He looks really, you know, nice in it. He wears a beanie to go like walk the dog at night and whatnot, so I wanted him to have something handmade, even though he's not a big knitwear guy, he's not a big handmade guy, but he's my dad, so I was like, I don't care if you don't want it. You're getting it. I don't know if that's selfish. And then I knit 2 school run beanies by Penrose Knits, who I also love her, and I also love her podcast. I knit them both in the Lion brand Kobu yarn. I knit one for my sister in, pretty sure it was just called Yellow. It's like this bright, actually I have some right here. I have some left over. It's just this bright yellow, and she loves yellow, so it was perfect. I knit one for her, and then I knit one for my friend's girlfriend, who's also my really good friend now, in the Lion brand Kobu yarn in the silver colorway. It was actually the leftovers from the Aosta sweater that I made, because my friend who I made the sweater for, it's his girlfriend. So I was like, oh, but I have so much leftover yarn, and I can make her a matching headband, and they can kind of be matching, but also I think that she would really like the headband, and she did, and it was so nice. I love that pattern. I've now made one for myself, and I just love the picot edging, I'm pretty sure it's called, and then the twist, and it just looks so cute. So yeah, I made 2 of those for Christmas, and they were both a hit. And then the last thing that I made in 2021 was the, again, I didn't put the designer, I don't know what I was thinking. I will include them. I will include all the designers, but it was called the Miles jacket, which is a cardigan. I thought I had it here, but he took it back to my parents' house the other day, so I'll have to insert a photo of that one as well. But yes, it's the Miles jacket. I made it in the Style Craft bamboo cotton yarn in the color espresso. So it's this really beautiful, like chocolate brown almost. I made the size medium for him, and I held the yarn double, and of all the things that I made this past year, that was the most labor of love. I don't know if it was just because I was making so many other things at the same time as making this, and I was making it in secret because I didn't want him to know. And the yarn was held double on pretty small, not really small, but like pretty small needles for having the yarn held double. I just didn't enjoy the process, and it had nothing to do with the pattern. It had nothing to do with the design. I think it just had to do with where I was at the time, and I was stressed with everything else I was trying to get done, but he loves it. He looks like a little old man running around with his little old cardigan, and again, I got really beautiful wooden buttons from Etsy, and yeah, he just looks really cute in it, and it fits him really nicely. So yeah, that's all I can say about that. The pattern comes with pockets. I told him I'd put pockets on it. Haven't put pockets on it yet, but I know he would like it a lot more if I did, so I'm probably gonna have to get on that. So yeah, that's everything. I mean, it feels like a lot, and I think that it is a lot. Here, let me try to hold up my pile. Oh. Yeah, I think that's a lot. I don't know. And that's like half of it. I think I was a crazy lady this past year, and honestly this year I already have quite a few finished garments to talk about, so I think I'm gonna do later like a normal podcasting episode. So yeah, that was everything. I had a great time knitting last year. I'm gonna have a great time knitting this year. I've got tons of plans and dreams, and it's gonna be great. So that's it, I guess, until next time. Thanks for coming. Thanks for spending some time with me, and I hope you enjoyed, maybe found a little bit of inspiration or humor, or I don't know, just happy to share.